Welcome to Wild Breakaway with Wes Walz. I'm Audra Martin. Tonight, the Wild and the Winnipeg Jets met for the first time in playoff history. Unfortunately, this one goes in favor of the home team, the Jets, with a 3-2 win tonight. Wild getting goals from Zach Parise and Matt Cullen, but also some good things from some of the young guys on the roster as well.
Yeah, for sure. The young kids played good. But this game, really went to script the first 40 minutes of the game, the first period. The Minnesota Wild know going into this series, they don't want to get into a track meet with the Winnipeg Jets with the scoring power they have. The first 40 minutes, Minnesota Wild did a great job of controlling the neutral zone, possessing the puck, making good plays with the puck, made it quite easy on themselves. And then you could see the third period, a couple turnovers in the neutral zone, and Patrick Laine was able to score a big goal, kind of got their crowd into the game. They cut down to 3 lines, the Winnipeg Jets, and really were able to get the snowball, get it going, and outshot the Minnesota Wild 19-4 in the third period. Got a huge goal, bit of a deflection off Charlie Coyle's stick that kind of snuck through Devin Dubnyk's legs, but would the Minnesota Wild like to have this one back? Yeah, a missed opportunity for sure, but Game 2's in a couple nights.
Well, Game 1 goes to the Jets. It's their first ever postseason victory. Here's a look at tonight's final stats. The Jets doubling up the Wild on shots on goal. The Wild 0 for 1 on the power play, 1 for 2 on the penalty kill tonight, and just like we expected, a very physical game. 70 hits total between these two teams tonight. Now it's just up for the Wild to have a nice rebound in Game 2 Friday night.
We hung in there, and I thought, as far as the attitude and the emotion, I thought we did a good job of controlling all that. And we just didn't make that extra play. And when we got ahead there, we took a breath. And honestly, that's natural. But if you're going to be successful in the playoffs in a long stretch, and you're going to win 16 games, you got to find a way to keep your foot on the gas the entire 60 minutes.
So here's a look at the rest of the schedule for round 1 between the Jets and the Wild. Game 2 Friday night from Winnipeg, 6 o'clock. Join us then and then Game 3 Tuesday night is Game 4. Hopefully Game 5, 6, 7 to come with the Minnesota Wild moving on to round 2. But it will take a good response. We know how tough it can be to play in Winnipeg. We saw the fans were just as intense and loud as you'd expect. They're going to be the same way in Game 2. Hopefully the Minnesota Wild again can put that all behind them. Don't need to worry about it. Move on and have a good showing in Game 2.
Yeah, the good thing is the Minnesota Wild didn't play a perfect game. They played far from a perfect game. The third period was not great at all. Great push. So there's room to get better. Bruce Boudreau and Matt Cullen both talked about that in their post-game pressers. And that's got to be a positive thing in the locker room. So the Minnesota Wild know now if they can definitely continue to play the way they played the first 2 periods, they've got a real good chance to pick up Game 2. And in all honesty, this isn't a must-win, but it's as close to a must-win as you can get because the Minnesota Wild coming down 0-2 to the Winnipeg Jets, as good as the Minnesota Wild have been at home, history doesn't show when the Minnesota Wild have been down 0-2 starting on a road trip that it usually ends good. The only time they did win on the road was when they split against the St. Louis Blues and they ended up winning that series. So huge game Friday night up there in Winnipeg.
All right, we'll see if the Wild can deliver a win in Game 2. We look forward to seeing you on Friday. In the meantime, for Wes Walz, I'm Audra Martin. Thanks for joining us tonight on Wild Breakaway.